Welcome to my channel. My name is Chris and you're watching VSense. So on today's video, we are going to review a collection that is extremely confusing, but it's a collection that's fairly popular nonetheless. I have seen this collection for a long time. The fragrances that I actually have are fairly old, but they are part of the collection of Aqua Allegoria by Guerlain. So they look like this. So this is a discontinued one, for example, but they are very beautiful bottles. They have changed very minute things. So now the labels are a little bit bigger. I think they've made this a little sturdier because the cage up here for the honeycomb used to be a little wobbly. But this is what the fragrance looks like, a little bumblebee at the top for their bees, which is a big symbol for Guerlain. But we're going to go through the ones that I have here. I know that some of these are still available on FragranceNet and a lot of other discounters, and you can get these online still. And then we're going to kind of talk about the actual fragrance collection because it's extremely confusing. If you go on Guerlain's website, there are like 5 different ranges within the same range. One of the ones that I do have here is still manufactured, and then we'll get into why I don't really care for this collection. So the first one I have here is Passiflora. This is part of the Aqua Allegoria collection by Guerlain, of course. This is what the bottle looks like. They are very nice bottles. There's some information at the bottom as to the fragrance itself, the batch code and all that stuff. I don't know if it's going to focus, but this fragrance in particular is no longer being manufactured and has been discontinued. Just to look at the actual sprayer, because Guerlain has so many different fragrances to the point where there's a lot of inconsistencies. Although it's an LVMH brand and it should have that nice wafty type of sprayer, they typically do not, because there are batches that don't have that. There's old packaging that hasn't gotten updated. Then there's new packaging. It's kind of a very confusing brand to touch into because they have so many different fragrances. They have so many different ranges. They have so many different, new ones launching in and out. So it's a little hard to keep track of this brand. So the actual sprayer itself is not too bad. It's still a misty, wafty type of sprayer, but it's not like a Louis Vuitton or a Dior one would be where you spray it and it just mist all over. It's very beautiful. So the one that we have here, like I said, is Passiflora, which is passion fruit flower. So very nice fragrance itself. It has a very tropical type of vibe to it itself. This entire range is actually dedicated to being very bright, very florals, lots of citric, lots of musk, very summer, spring type of fragrances, very vacation resort type of fragrances as well. This one is very nice. Like I said, it has that passion fruit at the top. It also has lemon and bergamot, grapefruit, aquatic notes, and mandarin. So it has that nice, like I said, fruity contrast. The aquatic notes in here are very nice. It's very clean. But the only problem with this range itself that I literally gripe about all the time, because they're not cheap, I believe. They do come in 2 sizes. They come in 125 mils as well as 75 mils. And then some of these are 160, some of these are 155, some of these are 110. Obviously, the 110 and 155 are one size difference, but there's some of them that are part of the Forte collection, which makes it more expensive. Again, very confusing. This one, like I said, is no longer available. It was a very nice one. It is one that I would definitely recommend if you like passion fruit, if you like bergamot, if you like aquatic notes. The only thing with this one is that the passion fruit kind of comes off as one of those like room sprayers. Although it's a nice fragrance that has a very nice, clean aquatic heart to it, it's also one of those fragrances that I would certainly say can kind of come off as a Febreze room spray, which is not what you want when you're spending 155 of your hard-earned dollars. Obviously, since this one is no longer available, you can get this one fairly inexpensive on like FragranceNet, for example, or Fragrance X, by the way, not sponsored by either one of them. So I would definitely recommend this one if you do like the notes in this fragrance itself. By the way, it was created in 2018, so it's not that old and it's gotten the chop already. So this is a common thing with this collection, is that they relaunch and then some of them stay, some of them go, some of them stay, some of them go, and it's just a repeating cycle. The next one we have here is Limon Verde, which is green lime. Obviously, you can tell by the color that it is inspired off of lime and bergamot. This is a very nice scent, but it's very hard to make bergamot and lime into something very unique when it comes to making a different scent profile for a fragrance. But they have added different types of notes in here. So the top notes on this are going to be key lime, lime, as well as orange. Your heart notes are going to be fig, as well as green notes they list. And then the base is going to be tonka bean. It's very interesting that tonka bean is in this fragrance because you don't really get that, warm, fuzzy, sweet smell that tonka bean typically does have with it. But I would certainly say that this fragrance itself is very nice. It's very wearable. It's something that you can wear on a daily basis, especially if you're going on a nice vacation, if you're going to wear a nice, flowy dress or a nice linen shirt and you're on the beach. It's very, very nice, like I said, but it can also come off as a room spray. So for the price point that this does cost, also this one is discontinued and has gotten the job. It does come off as a little, generic. It does come off as a little bit kind of like a room spray as well, one of those lime bergamot type of room sprays. Although it's nice, I would say to save your money and get something that you actually like that's going to have aquatic and lemon and lime and bergamot in it, because there are a lot of fragrances out there that have those notes that have done it 10 times better than this one. So definitely skip out on this one unless you absolutely love the scent itself. The next one we have is Teazzurra, which is this beautiful bottle, which essentially is a nice play on words. That is tea and azura, which is blue tea essentially. This fragrance is my least one that I have here today because it's a little bit overly sweet. It's kind of like if you were to make yourself a nice cup of tea and you're like, oh, I want a couple of spoons of sugar in there, and then you grab a giant spoon and then it's overly sweet to the point where you can't even drink it. That's what this fragrance represents in a bottle. So it is nice. It does have its, very nice nuances to it. So when you first spray it, it does have that nice, clean tea type of scent. And that's probably because the top notes on this are grapefruit, bergamot, yuzu, and it does have that nice fresh burst of citric notes at the top, which really creates that nice atmosphere for this fragrance. But then we get into the actual heart notes and base notes, which those would be jasmine, violet, vanilla, and green tea. So I really feel like the ones that are making this are really sweet are obviously the vanilla as well as the violet, because violet, although is a floral note, it can kind of give this sweetness to the fragrance overall. So that's probably what I don't like in this fragrance at all. So I would say that if you do like tea fragrances, definitely smell this before if you can. It's also been discontinued, but if you can smell it prior to purchasing it, I would, because it is a little sweet. So definitely check it out and smell it before you purchase it. And if you can find it where you can return it, then do that, because And the last one we have is Mandarine Basilic, which is this beauty of a bottle here. This one is still around. This one you can still purchase. It does come in a couple different lines. So it does come in the original Aqua Allegoria line. It does come in limited edition bottles of some sorts. And then it also comes in the Forte collection, which is supposed to be stronger. By the way, all of these fragrances don't really have longevity or performance at least more than 5 hours. That is mainly due because they are eau de toilette fragrances, are not eau de parfums, so the longevity and performance is not going to be there as if you were to get an eau de parfum fragrance. This one is nice. It is one of those fragrances that I would certainly say is fairly popular. It has stuck around since 2007, which is when this bottle was created, and the actual formulation has changed just slightly. So although it is still the same DNA of a fragrance, it still has that nice mandarin at the top. And this one has a lot of citric notes as well. The notes on this fragrance are going to be lemon thyme, bitter orange, as well as green tea, ivy, neroli, mandarin orange, as well as basil and chamomile. And we also have a touch of peony and the amber and sandalwood. So it's very nicely and well done as a fragrance itself. I would say that it comes off a little bit light. But out of all of the fragrances that I have here, out of this collection, it is the most original. So it does have, some depth into it. I can definitely see that it's inspired off of mandarin, but there are some different nuances to this fragrance that make it a little bit different. So that sandalwood gives it nice creamy depth to it. It also has that ambery touch in there that really gives this fragrance a nice, you know, kind of cloudy type of vibe to it. And then we also have all of those citric notes touching the peony, which peonies with citric notes is done very well in this fragrance. I do love a peony in a fragrance. It's actually my favorite flower. Definitely let me know what your thoughts are on these fragrances. Have you tried any of them? Are you interested in these fragrances? Definitely comment down below your thoughts and what you thought of today's video. I really do appreciate seeing everyone's comments down below. Make sure to also give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more fragrance related content here on V Scents. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.